We would like to thank the Minister of Arts and Culture. All of this was really the vision of the Minister of Arts and Culture saying, I would like to give you a platform. We are not interfering in terms of what we want to come out of this. You as the industry, tell us.
I know that the focus of discussions is about the impact of the digital age, but I would really like to implore you to come up with solutions that will address the conditions of our artists. On that note, I would like to welcome all of you to the South African Film Summit.
When I was invited to come and speak amongst filmmakers, I was actually asking myself, how does an engineer actually come and speak about film? One of the things that has often concerned me about South Africa's film industry is that it has not necessarily entered the scientific space.
Production. Now, this is the part where South Africa thinks the business of film is located when it isn't, although it is important because you have to produce something in order to go to market. But the production side is not the epitome of a business. The final part that I want to talk about is the key part. And this is the film business heart, and that's exhibition.
This industry is bigger than the tourism industry. You look at the UK, its biggest export is from the creative community. And we certainly have that potential. We talk about television, and broadcasters are very delinquent in this country. When you look at comparatives in Canada, in the UK, in Australia, in Canada, if a Canadian makes a Canadian film, then the broadcaster has to play it, and he has to buy it. Thank
My question can be answered by anyone. It's just related to fourth industrial revolution. Just to say, how can government make sure that the marginalized communities in the rural areas are not left behind. Because mainly the fourth industrial revolution will then be focusing on urban spaces, which has the possibility of leaving out those that do not have to this day access to something like, for instance, a cell phone or a smartphone. How do we deal with that?
Co-production, in my opinion, is our best chance.
Have you been trained at universities, at institutions, to run those companies? We are not. So we are encouraged to be failures, including us so-called developed and oldies or experienced producers. There is a disruption that is taking place around the world. Netflix is a game changer.
Thank you so much. Not only have young people with disability and women been historically excluded in the industry's value chain, they have also been on the receiving end when it comes to the distribution of the available resources for their creative ventures and ideas, let alone ownership of the value chain. The governing party last year organized a meeting of the creatives. And you know, I was happy that as we go on, as government, we're starting to realize the powerful and the potency of this space. I shared with the president that I will continue. Thanks for that, but I will continue because, like the deputy minister, when I was redeployed from the police, I got our entities, met with them, and NFVF is one of them. And I was asking, so how much do we give artists? He gave me very big sum, 100 million rands. So is that so? Yeah. Okay, no, that's fine. I was not sure what was fine, but I said it's fine. Then one film producer came to see me and said, no, Minister, we want funding. This is hardly a month I'm in office. Said to me, you know, the film I want to shoot will cost more than 100 million rands. He just mentioned that figure. That broke my heart, you see, because I've just arrived and I thought that we have something. So, what is it that is going to be our niche as South Africa? And after looking particularly in the cultural and creative industries, we then came to the conclusion, which I believe it's a correct conclusion, that our national interest is going to be in the film industry. Therefore, we expect not only arts and culture, not only trade and industry or economic development, but the entirety of government to appreciate that, so that as we have identified it, we then follow it up with proper investment, not the peanuts which arts and culture as a whole has. I don't forget that very first experience. If we can have access, market access of those countries, will go a long way as South African industry. But charity begins at home. Owning and telling the South African story should take precedence if the industry has to craft its own identity and attain its rightful place in the world of film. The cultural and creative industries, and in particular the audiovisual sector has long been recognized as a catalyst for economic growth in South Africa, with the potential to contribute immensely to the South African economy and creating employment. Many studies have shown the sector's tremendous contribution to the gross domestic product, revenue collection, and its multiplier effect in terms of creating employment. The summit must answer the rapid developing need to reorient towards becoming a knowledge economy, a process already acknowledged in the National Development Plan 2030. This summit cannot avoid or escape the imminent disruptions which Professor Marwala so eloquently spoke of earlier on, and opportunities presented by technological and digital developments. Therefore, adapting and embracing innovation for the transformation of the sector is a necessity if the industry is to realize growth and capture opportunities presented by the fourth industrial revolution.
What I'd say is that the industry is not easy. It's very misunderstood, not only by our parents but by government as well.
Our encounter with Industrial Revolution 4.0 has been predominantly with artificial intelligence and blockchain. So in the world of distribution, blockchain will become the norm eventually, and we're getting ready and setting up a blockchain server in our company to be ready for the future of Industrial Revolution 4.0, which will be blockchain, artificial intelligence. So what that means is transparency in distribution. Artists will be getting the revenue from the sales of their content or the monetization of the content that contains them, the writers, the actors, the directors. All of that will become transparent. So we're very excited about that part.
I want to talk about the summit that is happening here. Somehow, it's a bit disappointing that some of the questions or points raised here have been discussed before.